From foolishly taking aim at all-time legends in an attempt to poke fun at yourself, to just being a general a-hole to an eventual icon, these wrestlers all eventually learned that sometimes being humble is best. I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 more wrestlers who swallowed their pride. Number 10, Goldberg admits he respects Riddle. For what feels like the better part of Riddle's overall run as part of Vince McMahon's empire, it seemed as though the original Bro and Goldberg have been at each other's throats for a whole host of reasons. Who will ever forget the RK Bro man blasting Big Bill for his unsafe display at Super Showdown versus the DEADMAN in 2019? But now, after going back and forth online, in interviews and even backstage at SummerSlam 2019, it appears the former WCW World Champion has finally softened his stance on the one-time nuisance that is the former MMA fighter. Speaking to DAZN in August, Goldberg admitted, "Whether I like him as a human being or not, I have to understand and appreciate his passion for the business and his work ethic." The WWE Hall of Famer would also go on to confess that he now appreciates Riddle as an athlete and as a human. Oh, how far these sparring partners have come. Brings a tear to your eye. Number 9, Randy Orton sees the error of his younger ways. Much like his current tag partner Riddle, Randy Orton also didn't have a habit of endearing himself to the generation above him during the early days of his WWE career. From being a consistently immature presence behind the scenes, to just being an all-round dick when it came time to perform at live events, Randall Keith looked determined to squander the many golden opportunities sent his way during his mid-20s. Perhaps his most embarrassing misstep went down during the lead-up to Mania 21, when the Viper was set to throw down with the Phenom on the grandest stage at just 24 years of age. Orton would recount during his appearance in the WWE Untold special centered around the pair, the time he missed a rehearsal for their eventual show of shows showdown. The youngster had gotten into a little bit of trouble and didn't get much sleep. But Taker didn't come down hard on Orton. For his reaction and taking the rising star under his wing in general, Orton humbly went on record to thank Taker for not bitching him out, for one of his biggest regrets in the business. Number 8, Stephen Amell asks Batista not to kill him for his Mania 35 comments. As far as people seen as safe targets to take a few cheeky shots at on the old Twitter machine go, you wouldn't be in a rush to add former World Heavyweight Champion Batista to that list. But Arrow star Stephen Amell is clearly a braver man than me, or just stupider. Coming into Mania 35, the internet was abuzz with various takes on the inevitable clash between the King of Kings and the Animal, with Amell offering perhaps one of the cheekiest. In response to Dave and Trips being officially announced, the die-hard wrestling fan tweeted out, "Just landed and found out about Dave Batista versus Triple H. Really pumped for the match, but also don't want to see a celebrity angle detract from an awesome wrestling card." Amell was simply poking fun at his own celebrity stint within the company, but the Guardians of the Galaxy star wasn't a fan of his tone. Quickly backtracking on his attempted joke, Amell replied to Batista's comments of him being there because he loves it, and that his match adds to the card by confessing, "My tweet was meant to poke fun at me. It clearly wasn't funny. Please don't kill me." Thankfully, he did not. Number 7, Morrissey and Joey Janela bury the hatchet. In the time following his departure from WWE in 2018, Morrissey found himself in something of a downward spiral, largely due to his issues with addiction and mental health during that period. One incident in particular grabbed the headlines at this stage in his life, that being the time he got into a backstage altercation with Joey Janela at a Wrestle Pro event in 2019. The former Big Cass was said to have chased down the bad boy and allegedly threatened to kill the now AEW man. Fast forward a few years and it appears these two stars are now on much better terms, with Kaz XL revealing to Sean Waltman on Pro Wrestling for Life that he has made amends with Janela. As the Impact star put it, "I did a show and spoke to Joey. We're really cool. We buried the hatchet. That was one that I genuinely needed to apologize to the guy in person." Morrissey appears to have gotten his life back on track in recent times, getting in the shape of his career and finally living up to his potential in Impact. Sincerely making up for his past mistakes is another step in the right direction for the former WWE man. Number 6, Sammy Guevara apologizes to Sasha Banks. There's quite simply no place in modern society for the comments about WWE superstar Sasha Banks that Sammy Guevara made back in 2016. Acting quickly upon hearing their talent confess in a podcast a few years ago, "Bro, Sasha Banks, oh my god, when I was at the WWE the other week, I wanted to just go and effing rape that woman. AEW swiftly suspended the Spanish god without pay." Guevara Guevara would then get in touch with the boss and openly discuss precisely why this sort of behavior could not be tolerated. Sammy would also upload his own personal "I'm sorry" video on YouTube to shine a light on the mistakes that led to his suspension. On top of acknowledging that 2016 me is not me today, the current TNT champion stated, "I just want to apologize to anybody I let down, to Sasha, to anybody I hurt with my words." Guevara would also remark that Banks taught him a gigantic lesson, and that he thanked her for that in another apology on Twitter. Number 5. Cody Rhodes asked for forgiveness after joining in with a homophobic chant. For the most part, AEW has made a conscious and largely successful effort to bang the drum for inclusivity across the board. However, no promotion is perfect, and one of All Elite Wrestling's EVPs found out the hard way that it's important to do a little bit of research before committing to certain acts in a professional ring. As the American Nightmare lined up alongside Psycho Clown and former UFC heavyweight champion and one-time WWE talent Cain Velasquez at AAA's Triple Mania in Mexico City in 2019, Rhodes found himself getting swept away in the moment and joining in with a puto chant on the night. Upon being called out for the chant, used as a homophobic slur against people who are gay, after the clip popped up on AEW's Road to All Out YouTube video, an AEW spokesperson apologized on behalf of their significant star, stating, "The last thing Cody would want to do is to hurt or offend anyone anywhere." You can bet Rhodes will do his homework before partaking in any other chants going forward. Number 4. The DEADMAN orders the Edgeheads to say sorry. While Randy Orton may have gotten away without feeling the wrath of the legendary Undertaker for missing an all-important rehearsal all those years ago, a certain set of Edgeheads weren't as lucky as the Viper. Hot on their heels of being nudged away from the Rated R superstar, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder committed what is seen as a cardinal sin backstage in the thick of a WWE event in Mexico. The toy-loving twosome was said to have been tapping away on their phones, ignoring the monitor as Triple H battled Vladimir Kozlov in the night's main event, a decision which evidently irked the DEADMAN. After being told to apologize to the locker room leader by Mark Henry, the Phenom advised the naive duo to do the same to Kozlov and the game. As Matt Cardona would later reveal down the road, Tripp's response, or lack of, to their actions and subsequent apology likely didn't do them any favors in the long run. So to any budding WWE stars of tomorrow watching on, you'd be wise to holster your iPhones when in the vicinity of a dead man and a backstage monitor. Number 3. Nikki Bella backtracks on CHYNA comments. As you've already seen over the course of this video, time isn't too kind to provocative comments made by a wrestler in the past about a fellow performer. Something Nikki Bella found out the hard way recently. In a video that has since resurfaced online showing both Nikki and Brie Bella appearing in an episode of Fashion Police with Joan Rivers, the former had some tasteless words for WWE Hall of Famer CHYNA. Nikki would go on to ponder whether she was a man or a woman before the twins chuckled at the host's quip of CHYNA having a penis. Nikki would go on to apologize on Twitter for her actions in 2013. Tweeting out, "I am sorry and embarrassed by my 29-year-old self," who offended CHYNA and, in turn, hurt her family and others, in her statement on the matter. Along with said apology, Nikki would also go on to salute CHYNA as an icon and a pioneer. Number 2. John Cena tries to make amends with CHYNA. An apology to another CHYNA this way comes, and it ironically comes from the mouth of Nikki Bella's one-time flame. It's pretty commonly known at this point that John Cena has put an awful lot of time and effort into becoming fluent in Mandarin Chinese. But in the midst of once again flaunting his ability to slip into this other language during an interview with a Taiwanese broadcaster a few months back, Super Cena got caught in the middle of some unwanted drama. During this interview, Cena referred to Taiwan as a country, something that is not looked upon too kindly by China due to the place still being seen as a vital part of its own territory. In a subsequent statement on his Weibo account, the WWE legend confessed that he made a mistake. Cena would also go on to say, "I'm really sorry, you have to understand that I love and respect China and Chinese people," in Mandarin over the course of his apology video. Said apology was then said to have not gone down well backstage in WWE, according to Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast. Sometimes it's just better to keep your mouth shut, Cena. Number 1. Kevin Nash apologizes for being a dick to the Great One. In the days before Dwayne Johnson was electrifying millions inside of a movie theater, the Great One once found himself butting heads with a rather abrasive group of returning icons in WWE. The time was 2002, and the likes of Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, and Scott Hall had finally made their triumphant return, rocking up in full NWO colors to cause some of their trademark chaos. However, things had changed a touch in the years they'd been away. There was a new top dog in town, and his name was The Rack. acknowledging the fact that the pair didn't see eye to eye back then, mostly because Nash was a self-professed dick. Big Daddy Cool apologized to Johnson for his actions recently on Twitter after saluting Rock's Under Armour kicks post-workout. Ever the epitome of humbleness, Rocky responded to Diesel by stating there was no need for any apology, as he understood why the trio acted the way they did, largely due to them wanting to keep their spot. Rock would also go on to admit that he wishes the pair worked together more, once again proving himself to be one of the most inspiring and respectable figures ever to step into the game. And that's our list. Know any other wrestlers who swallowed their pride? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you are watching is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you as always for clicking on this video today, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye!